Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWAS. Continuing on with college football week 6. Got a Big 12 matchup here. Texas Tech on the road at Arizona. Let's do it.
Welcome to the SWAS. The SWAS. SWAS. Hey, get the SWAS.
All right, like I said, Texas Tech is on the road here. Arizona laying 6, pretty much 6 across the board. There is a 5.5 there if you look. Total sitting at 63.5 or 64, depending on your sports book. Let's take a look at the pie charts, and according to this data that I don't trust, action is coming in on the Arizona side. Almost 60% of the tickets and 65% of the money on the Wildcats. But again, as I always say, take this data with a grain of salt. So let's get into this matchup. We'll start with the Texas Tech offense sitting at 28th in pass frequency, 8th in pace. And that's not new. That's pretty much what you can expect to see from the Texas Tech offense every single year. They throw the ball a lot, run a crazy fast pace. So far in the season, they've been okay. They're 55th in OFEI, 35th in yards per play, 51st in success rate, 28th in PPA. Definitely not seeing the explosive passing numbers, but they are 26th in effective pass, which obviously isn't bad. The concern here is this game is on the road, and we'll get into this, but you can see here their only road game was at Washington State in Pullman. Just 16 points scored in the game, 5.64 yards per play. They actually almost had 500 yards of offense in the game, but they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. If you look at the numbers in their other 4 games, they average 48 points per game, 6.7 yards per play, over 46% success rate. So the offense has looked good other than the Washington State game where it really didn't even look that bad, not as bad as the final score indicated. Aaron Morton putting up some nice looking numbers on the season, over 1,400 yards passing, 7.4 yards per attempt, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception. But like I said earlier, this game is on the road in Arizona, and that's been a problem for Baron Morton. Here are his home-away splits from this season. Now, we're only talking about one game in Washington State, but he's got 13 touchdowns and no interceptions at home this year. 1 touchdown, 2 picks in his road game. Look at the passer rating, 166.8 to 104.2. Completion percentage down as well. Now, you might be thinking, well, Kyle, it's just one game, one road game. Who cares? Well, look at his splits from last year. Same deal. 56.5% completions on the road last year compared to over 67% at home. Touchdown to interception ratio, 8-2 at home, 4-5 on the road. Look at the passer rating. Drops from 145 to 99.8. So no question, Baron Morton not nearly as productive away from Lubbock. So the fact that this game's being played in Arizona is definitely a concern if you're a Texas Tech fan or if you plan on betting Texas Tech. Here are Arizona's defensive numbers on the year. They actually look all right. I mean, as you know, under Jed Fish, Arizona was not a defensive program. Certainly taking a step forward this year. They're 68th in yards per play, 59th in success rate, 62nd in PPA, sitting at 77th in DFEI, which isn't great. I expect that to climb. Look at the pass defense numbers. 43rd in yards per pass attempt, 61st in success rate, but 41st in effective pass. This year's Arizona defense is much better than last year's. However, I do have a bit of a concern here for Arizona. Texas Tech's offensive line has been great in pass protection. They're actually 7th in the country in pass blocking grade, 19th in sack rate allowed, 30th in pressure rate allowed. The strength of this Arizona defense so far has been the pass rush. They're 27th in pass rush grade, 13th in pressure rate, 9th in pass rush win rate. So Arizona's been having a lot of success rushing the passer. Might not be there against Texas Tech. Their offensive line's been good in pass protection, and that's especially concerning when you look at these splits here. Baron Morton has great numbers when given a clean pocket. It's when you get pressure on him is when he starts to struggle. So Arizona's pass rush needs to be there, and Texas Tech's been great in pass protection. So I like that matchup for Texas Tech. But here's the thing. I do question the strength of schedule for Texas Tech's offense. How many defenses has this team seen? I mean, here are their game logs here. The only legitimate defense that Texas Tech has seen so far is Arizona State. And look at their numbers in that game. 3.8 yards per carry, 4.6 yards per pass attempt. Sure, the Texas Tech offense looked great against Abilene Christian or Washington State, who can't stop anybody. We saw what Genty and Boise State just did to them. North Texas never plays any defense. Cincinnati doesn't have a good defense this year. The only time they've seen a legitimate defense was Arizona State. They couldn't really do much offensively, and now they're going on the road to play Arizona, whose defense might be about on the same level as Arizona State. So I don't like this matchup for Texas Tech's offense. I mean, you got Baron Morton on the road. You got Texas Tech winning 3 games in a row, looking impressive, putting big numbers on the scoreboard. Just seems like a really nice spot to sell high on Texas Tech's offense. But what about the other side? What about the Arizona offense? Now, obviously, we know this is another offense powered by the pass, 16th in passing frequency. They run a much slower pace, though, 125th in pace. So they're not like Texas Tech running a snap every 15 seconds. They're actually taking their time. They will be throwing the ball a lot. And so far, they've been pretty good. 25th in yards per pass attempt allowed, 72nd in success rate, 17th in effective pass. The offense as a whole is sitting at 24th in OFEI. Yeah, Fafita kind of let us down in that Kansas. Well, he didn't let me down. I was on Kansas State. But I think on that big game on Friday night against Kansas State wasn't his best effort. But as a whole, he has been making plays this year. He's averaging over 8 yards per pass attempt, 8.2 to be exact, 7 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. But his turnover-worthy play rate is sitting towards the top of the country, so may have gotten a little unlucky on those interceptions. What concerns me most for Fafita is he kind of did all of his damage against New Mexico. 422 yards and 4 touchdowns against New Mexico. Look at his game logs in the other ones. I mean, Northern Arizona, they didn't really ask him to do much. I mean, they blew him out. It's an FCS team. But the 2 games since then, at Kansas State and at Utah, they really haven't been great. But here's the thing. Texas Tech's defense is most definitely not Kansas State and Utah. In fact, Kansas State and Utah probably both have top 25 defenses this year, and both those games were on the road. Now he comes back home and sees the Texas Tech defense, which looks pretty terrible on paper. Granted, they've been dealing with injuries this year, but 94th in yards per play allowed, 100th in success rate, 105th in PPA, really struggling against the pass. 87th in yards per pass attempt allowed, 102nd in success rate per dropback, 102nd in effective pass. Texas Tech's been getting cooked through the air, which is music to the ears of Arizona fan and Noah Fafita, who really needs to have a big game. He needs to get back on track. Some more good news for Noah Fafita. Texas Tech has been struggling in the pass rush department. They're actually 129th in sack rate, 100th in pass rush grade, 67th in pressure rate. Arizona done a very good job in pass protection. 45th in sack rate allowed, 66th in pressure rate. So Fafita should have time to throw in the pocket. He's also handled pressure really well this year. So even if Texas Tech is able to win some of their pass rush battles, Fafita should be fine. And something else we need to mention about Texas Tech's defense, they haven't seen a slew of talented quarterbacks yet in terms of throwing the ball. I mean, Mateer at Washington State, he's more of a runner. Chandler Rogers in North Texas is okay. Arizona State, Sam Leavitt, he's not the greatest thrower of the ball. Last week against Cincinnati, we finally saw them see Sorsby, who looks pretty good throwing the football this year. He cooked on Texas Tech. 426 yards passing, 9.5 yards per attempt, almost a 50% success rate. Fafita, I mean, entering the season, we were expecting him to be much better than any of these quarterbacks. It should be Texas Tech's pass defense toughest test of the year. So I think Fafita has a big bounce back game coming off the 2 tough road games against 2 tough defenses. Now he comes home against the Texas Tech pass defense that's struggling. I think he cooks. So as you probably guessed, I like Arizona to light the scoreboard up in this one. I think they score a bunch of points. I do think they cover the number, but actually the way I bet it, in the last video I uploaded, I talked about Louisville and how I thought they'll give SMU's run game that seems unstoppable problems. I like Louisville to win that game. So the bet I actually placed, Arizona money line, Louisville money line, parlay. I mean, they're both 6-point favorites, so it turns out to be kind of the same thing as a 6-point teaser. I got it at plus 108. So Arizona money line, Louisville money line parlay, plus 108. Don't do this type of thing often, but I like it, so I placed it. If you want to see all the bets I currently have open, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets to see all mine as well as everyone on the staff here. Also, if you sign up to Sauce Network Plus, it comes with access to the Discord, and you can participate in the weekly betting league. $150 cash, and one of these trophies go to the winner every single week. So if you're interested, head over to the website and sign up. Live show Saturday morning, 10 a.m. up to kickoff. We'll go through as many games as we can. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Let's have ourselves a good week 6. I need it, man. College football, not off to a good start this year. Can't seem to get a grasp on it. Luckily, NFL is going well. I need that because college football, man, just come another rough Saturday. I had a winning Saturday right before that, so I thought maybe like, oh, okay, here we go. I'm getting it on track. No, had a rough Saturday. So hopefully college football turns around. Please remember to bet responsibly. Talk to you in the Discord.